Hi, this is Joanne Davies and I'm a spiritualist medium based here in the beautiful west coast of Scotland. And I'm coming to you today from my daily walk to share with you my 5 top tips for developing mediumship. And I've noticed that many students, when they first come to me for mediumship development, as you would expect, many of them doubt the validity of the information that they're receiving or experiencing in the early stages of development. And I can tell you that for many mediums, further on in their development, or when in fact they even become working mediums, many other people still doubt that information or don't have a clear idea of where they're getting their information from. So my first top tip for any developing medium is to say that it's vitally important to develop a rapport and a relationship with your spirit team. Now, each and every one of us have a spirit team, and that team may consist of ancestors who've passed, or of guides, or of animal spirits. And some people even report aliens who work with them. And some people experience Jesus Christ or other famous gods and goddesses from history. And the fact is that, number one, they may well come to you in that guise, but in fact that might not be who they were. Spirit guides and spirit teams are a contentious subject in the field of mediumship. And many people even wonder if we have guides at all, or if we're actually just connecting with an aspect of our own higher self. But my own personal truth is that we do have a spirit team of beings who have lived an earthly life, and perhaps of other beings who have not lived an earthly life. And as mediums who are developing, some of us may have been aware of some of these guides or ancestors from childhood, and some of us may not be aware of them until we actually start our development as adults. But either way, that team is there, and they do want to work with us, and they do want to connect with us. And in order for us to truly have a good link with someone else's deceased relative, then we must first develop a link with our own spirit team. And the only way to do that is to give them 100% of your dedication and of your time. Because if you don't make that effort to connect with them, then quite frankly they won't make the effort to connect with you. And I think they do get frustrated with us when we don't make the effort. And eventually for them it becomes an exercise where they feel like they have to bang you in the head with a big stick to get your attention. So rather than waiting for spirit to do that, why not just make the effort to make it a daily part of your practice to talk to them and communicate with them? So, if you have a mum, dad, granny or grandpa who's passed away, or a beloved child or animal who's passed away to spirit, that might be the first start in the process of the journey. And for me, it was my grandmother who I used to speak to when I was a teenager. I would talk to her and I would ask her for guidance with my life. And I used to always feel her presence and know that she was there trying to help me. So I think that can be the first step in the path of developing a rapport for many of us. And then you might go along to a development class or circle, and your mentor there might suggest it's a good idea to develop the practice of meditation or sitting in the power. And you may then find you're encouraged to make a link or a connection with spirit guides. And again, it's something that we should make an effort to do as often as we possibly can, because there is no doubt in my mind that that will accelerate and enhance your abilities as a medium. Because if I was to phone you here on the earth and you didn't answer me and you didn't speak to me, I would hang up and go away, wouldn't I? So it's exactly the same with the spirit world. We have to give them time and respect, not only to help us, but for them as well to be able to find ways of working with us as a vessel for them. So the spirit world need time to come in and see which of your senses they feel they're most able to work through to begin with, and then what senses they want to develop as time goes on. And of course, the only way that they can do that is if you give them the space and time to develop you. You know, your tutors may give you exercises, and there's a plethora of tutors offering exercises on the internet for free, and you can do these things to strengthen and enhance your intuition. But ultimately, when you're working with spirit beings, they very much need that time and space to come in and work with you. So that's my first tip, really, is to give them that respect, to make it a daily practice to sit with spirit if you can, whether it be for 20 minutes in the morning or 10 minutes in the afternoon. And if you can't find time in your daily schedule to do so, even if you just do it once a week, and the longer you sit and the deeper you go, I think the closer the spirit world can come to you. Many mediums talk about trance, and I will do another video on trance mediumship because it's a whole subject in itself. But for me, I feel the deeper I go within a meditative state, the closer the spirit world are able to come to me. And that enables them to work with me, but also me to figure out through my brain how to perceive the information that they're trying to bring to me. So that's the first top tip for developing mediumship. My second top tip is the why. Why are you developing mediumship? This is something every developing medium must ask themselves. So, did you just find yourself on this path? Or did you make a conscious decision to, did you wake up one morning and consciously decide, I want to be a medium? And then if you did, it doesn't matter whether you just fell onto the path or whether you made the conscious decision, but it's important to ask yourself why. So, if you fell onto the path, whether it be through a friend, through a book, through a chance encounter, if you fell onto that path, you must ask, is there a divine higher purpose and higher reason why I find myself on this path, and should I ignore it or should I pursue it? If it's a conscious decision you made one morning, you woke up and decided I want to be a medium, then you must ask yourself, what is the motivating factor? Because ultimately the spirit world want to do this work because they love the people that they've left behind here on the earth, and they want to reassure them that there is another life after this life, and they want to reassure them that they love them and that they are okay and that they're safe and with other loved ones in the spirit world. So, if your motivation is to make money and get famous, then quite frankly the spirit world will step back. But, if your motivation comes from the right place, from a place of integrity and love in the depths of your heart, you may well make money as you go along. And you might make enough money to, live and to feed your family, and that's fine. But if your sole purpose is to be famous or be on TV, or your ego is so large that you think, oh, I would look so good on stage, or I would sound so good on stage, then the spirit world will step back from that ultimately. So asking yourself the why is my second tip for developing mediumship. My third top tip is to ask yourself, are you truly connected to your own inner awareness, or are you blocking it out? So many of us have very powerful emotions that we learn to suppress and bury, from we're very, very young children. And as we grow up into adults, often we just do not acknowledge our own emotions and feelings. And we busy ourselves doing something to, distract ourselves from these emotions and feelings. And quite frankly, again, if you want to connect with someone else's dead relative and truthfully and accurately perceive the emotions and feelings that they had when they were on the physical earth, or the emotions and feelings that they're now feeling in the spirit world as they speak to their loved one, then the only way you're going to be able to perceive that is to first become aware of the self. And this is something that I teach to my students every single day. And so this third top tip is all about personal development as much as spiritual awareness. It's about personal development, and again, that might involve sitting in the power or meditating and sitting with your spirit team on a regular basis and asking them, what do they want from you? And asking them, what is it that they want to develop to help you to serve them and be their vessel. So you have to be aware of your own feelings and thoughts in order to do this job. So, if you bury negative emotions all the time and ignore them, then the spirit world will find it very, very difficult to impress negative emotions upon you. We seem to live in this sort of death-defying, age-defying society just now, where we're all sort of taught that we should be positive all the time and that anything negative should be ignored or suppressed. And the fact is that just as light and dark exists in this world, positive and negative emotions just exist exactly the same. So imagine you've got a young fella trying to communicate with you who passed away through his own hand. A young fellow who was very anxious and depressed before he actually took his own life. How would you accurately be able to perceive that young man's emotions if you have suppressed your own emotions of fear and anxiety and depression all of your life? You would find it very, very difficult to perceive what he's trying to impress upon you. So the next time you're sitting alone at home, maybe the family are all out, maybe you've, find yourself alone with your own thoughts, and some emotion crops up, whether it be negative like anger or sadness, or whether it be a very positive emotion like love or joy. Either way, just take note of that feeling and emotion and sit with it for a while and allow yourself to go to memories that might be associated with that, no matter how painful, and allow yourself to release those painful emotions, to acknowledge them and to release them if you can, if it's time for you to release them. Because like a jack-in-the-box, if you bury things, it will just keep popping back up to bite you in the backside eventually. And the counsellor, before they train as a counsellor, has to be counselled. And I'm not suggesting that mediums are counsellors, but very like a counselling situation, you cannot help and support other people if you're not aware of your own deep-rooted emotions. So it's advisable to get in touch with that inner awareness as much as you can, because the more you're aware of your own inner emotions, thoughts and feelings, then the easier it becomes for the spirit world to connect with those emotions. Mediums have to develop practicing reading energy. So this is my fourth top tip for developing mediumship. The next time you go out for a walk in the woods alone, if you can find a nice, reasonable, clean place to sit down, why don't you just sit and close your eyes for a few moments and take a nice deep breath? And on the exhalation, just become aware of any thoughts, symbols, or sounds, or feelings that come to your mind as you sit in this place in nature. Really tune in to the energy of the atmosphere and ask yourself, is this a tranquil feeling or a peaceful feeling? Or in fact, can I feel anxiety or stress or worry as I sit here? If you're out in an urban area and you're going into a city, lots of tutors will tell you should shield up before going into a public place. And when I say shield up, what I mean is tutors will teach you not to expand your aura or your awareness into the crazy awareness of other people in a city environment. But I think it's a very good practice to do if you want to become aware of and read energy. So the next time you go into a city, get yourself a cup of coffee and sit down in a busy street in a cafe, whether it's inside or outside, and just close your eyes for a few moments again and take a deep breath, and then expand your awareness out into your aura and beyond, out into the city, and register. What do you feel? What do you see? What do you sense? Are there any symbols that pop into your mind here in this place? Or are there any sounds or feelings that you feel? Because our bodies talk to us all the time, and again, we're often not entirely aware of our own bodies. If you think about the basics of hunger, many of us in the society we live in now seem to override those hunger signs, but the fact is they are there. So in order to enhance your intuition and your awareness, you can also start with yourself and read the energy of your own body. And ask yourself at any given time, am I feeling my mouth beginning to salivate? Am I more acutely aware of the smell of food? And is that my body telling me now that it's time for food? Is my stomach in fact grumbling, telling me that I'm hungry? Or in fact, is my stomach so overloaded it's telling me it's had enough, it doesn't want any more food? So again, these are questions you could ask yourself in order to enhance your intuition. Think about times when your body's under a great amount of stress, and at the moment with this global pandemic that we're facing, many of us are feeling acute stress and anxiety at this time. So ask yourself, how does that stress feel in my body? Can I feel my palms sweating? And is my heart doing little backflips and palpitations? And is this a sign that I'm feeling under stress? Is my skin breaking out? Am I sweating? Am I struggling to sleep? And really register and tune into these feelings and these images, sensations and thoughts that your body is trying to express to you. Because the more you do that, then the easier it will be for the spirit world to use your body to impress things upon you, such as the manner of their passing or the manner of their emotional and mental state before they passed. And these are valuable tools that will enhance your mediumship capabilities. So, top tip number 5, watch other mediums work. Seems relatively simple, but lots of mediums, when they're developing, fail to see the importance or the significance of watching other mediums working and demonstrating. And when I was developing, I was incredibly lucky here in Glasgow and the West Coast that we have a plethora of spiritualist churches, both SNU and independent. So on any night of the week, I was able to go out and watch other mediums work. But even if you live in an area where there are no spiritualist churches to go to, you can still watch lots of the professional mediums at work. Albeit some of it might be edited, but it's still worth watching, particularly the live links. You will see some professional mediums where they've done a live link, and if you watch them working, you're seeing the mechanics of mediumship in action, and that undoubtedly will help you with your own development, because ultimately learning how to present mediumship is a valuable part of the game. You could be the most talented medium on this earth, but if you haven't learned any techniques on how to present that information appropriately to the general public, then you might as well give up, because Joe Blogs on the street doesn't know how to take a message from spirit. So we need to learn to put the mediumship in a way that enables the general public to understand what we're doing, but also watching other mediums work. If you're watching, an excellent medium work, then that gives you something to aspire to, and it gives you a target that you can measure yourself against, a benchmark, I suppose, for the quality of your own mediumship. But equally, if you watch a medium who and without being offensive, you know, but a medium who's underdeveloped. And let's face it, there are many, many underdeveloped mediums on the platform. So if you watch one of them working, it will help you to understand what you don't want to be. Equally, if you come across someone who is just ego driven and money driven, you will see where, you know, when the ego steps in, that spirit step back, and you will see that in action as you watch them. And these are all valuable lessons for you within your own mediumship development. So I hope you've enjoyed this video on top tips for mediumship development. If you did, please hit the like button and please share with your friends and anyone who you think might be interested in this mediumship channel. And please hit the subscribe bell, because then you'll get a little notification every time I do a new video. And also, the more activity that I have on the channel, it really does help to get the information out to those who might need it. So please feel free to drop me a comment below in the comments box, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask me a question. And at the time of making this video, it's the 10th of April 2020. And just to let you know, I am doing a Facebook Live Q&A session this coming Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. GMT. So please feel free to hop over to my Facebook page, Joanne Davies Spiritualist Medium, and join me there on Wednesday evening at 7:30 for a Facebook Live Q&A session. So if you have any questions about anything related to mediumship or psychic development, just hop on and we can have a live chat and see if I can help you out. So take care, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.